It's really funny and kind of sad, actually, because a lot of people are falling for it, to see administration officials who simply cannot go and make a case for the economic policy of this administration based on the facts, just make stuff up. And I'm going to show you some examples of this. There's this kind of phrase in the legal world: when the facts aren't on your side, you argue process. And when the process isn't on your side, you argue facts. In the Trump administration, it's when the facts aren't on your side, you just make them up. And we heard from Brooke Rollins, the Secretary of Agriculture, just repeat lie after lie after lie. And my question to you is, could this possibly work on the American people? I'm going to give you some examples of this. Here is Brooke Rollins saying what Trump is fundamentally doing is taking care of farmers with the proposed bailout and so on and so forth. But what's missing is that the reason the farmers need help is because of the very policies that Donald Trump put in place in the first place. Are the American people going to fall for this?
Farmers might get helped eventually. That hasn't happened yet, right? 15 billion is it in the works? And it's okay. So we do tariffs on one hand. That's to try to accomplish one thing, but that hurts. That has unintended consequences, maybe with farmers. So we're using this 15 billion for. Was it a good idea? Was it positive in the end? I guess you can use some of the tariff proceeds maybe for the 15 billion for the farmers.
So a couple of quick points on that. First of all, what the president did with Liberation Day, with enacting all these tariffs back in
Imagine still saying Liberation Day with a straight face.
February, we now have dozens of new trade deals. And within Indonesia, Australia, Japan, EU, England, it's just remarkable. And a lot of these deals, people tried for 20, 25 years to get these deals. Again, under the last administration, we didn't have one new trade deal. We went from a agriculture trade surplus under Trump 1.
By the way, you know what she slips? We didn't have any new trade deals under the last administration. Did we need any? There's no rule that says you have to be making trade deals all the time. If you don't break something, you don't find yourself needing to fix it.
To a deficit, $50 billion deficit in just agriculture. So think about the effects on our farmers and our ranchers. $50 billion is a significant amount when you're growing corn or soybeans or apples or whatever you're growing. So being able to solve for that, which now we're doing, again, it's incredible. But to your point about the aid, the president always said he would take care of the farmers. They have been with him since he came down the escalator just a few blocks from here in 2015 and began this next chapter. So yes, we are looking at the aid right now. We have always said it is to solve for, to mitigate anything under these new trade negotiations.
Yeah, it's funny. She says what's happening is we might need to mitigate because of the trade negotiations. The problem isn't negotiations. The problem is the tariffs. That is what is crushing these farmers. And Trump has always said he would be there for the farmers. Well, he kind of wasn't during his first term. And then he did the same thing during his second term. And now he needs to put out a fire that he set. They then, and I like this, they then get into specifically soybeans. Let's listen.
We're selling a lot more soybeans than we were, though, a couple of months ago when we first started talking about that.
That was the big problem. China went from the biggest buyer of soybeans to zero purchases of soybeans. That was the biggest issue that happened. That happened on President Trump's watch.
Well, so we have seen a decline from China buying soybeans for years. It is an important point, though, because China, just a few years ago, was buying about 65% of our soybeans from America. They have pivoted to buying a lot of Brazilian soybeans. And also the president has said, as has Secretary Bessent, that using our soybean farmers for leverage is not okay. So in the last, just a couple of weeks ago, the announcement was that China is back on to buy soybeans, 12 million metric tons this year, 25 million metric tons over the next few years. They've already put in a purchase order. We've already started shipping soybeans their way, almost 1.5 million metric tons. We have
So she is just doing a word salad. The numbers that China has conditionally agreed to purchase would only over a period of years get us back to where we were, which is about 25 million a year. The million that has been sent is under 5% of what we were selling. The fact that we've received a purchase order, this goes back to, did you pledge a donation or did you make the donation? Remember that whole controversy? This is gaslighting at the absolute top level. And then she goes, well, we do have to be patient too.
Understand this, and tell me if I'm wrong. My understanding is that you said in the White House, it said that China was going to buy 12 million metric tons of soybeans from the United States by January. We're now just about a month and a half away from that. They have, according to the USDA report, only made 2 big purchases, and they total in total 332,000 metric tons. How is that pledge, if that is a real pledge, and China has not confirmed that pledge, going to be made in that?
Okay, listen very carefully now. Andrew Ross Sorkin says, we were told that the purchases this year would end up at 12 million. They're at 332,000. There's like a month and a half left. Okay, now listen to what she says.
Quick a time.
Andrew, thank you. We're actually about 1.5 million metric tons, but your point is still salient, right? That 1.5 million of 12 million, we've got a significant way to go. I know they are inking the deal this week or next week. Again, every sign is their commitment remains true, that they will indeed buy or purchase 12 million metric tons or put the order in.
They're going to put the order in. There it is. They are lying to everyone. And I feel bad because there are people genuinely affected by this stuff. They're not just the farmers, but all of the related businesses. Well, we're going to do the 12 million. We're at 330,000, but also like we're really close to signing the deal, and they're going to get these soybeans soon, or they might make the purchase order. The big picture is the following. China used to buy a ton of soybeans, and it wasn't just purchase orders. They were actually buying the soybeans. The tariffs supposedly aren't part of the problem, but getting rid of the tariffs is now part of the solution. But the tariffs are no big deal. Farmers are getting crushed. And the same thing happened in Trump's first term. And of course, ultimately, Brooke Rollins tries to simply blame Joe Biden.
Not surprising that the driver, of course, no new trade deals during those 4 years, no way to move the food out. So when you look at all of that in total, it's no surprise that what we inherited was an absolute economic mess. But those numbers are coming down. There are a few outliers. And you mentioned Secretary Bessent.
I wish you were more specific. It was a mess that you inherited. Well, under Biden, we sold soybeans to China. Under Trump, thanks to his tariffs, that has stopped, and farmers now need a bailout. Farmers needed a bailout during Trump's first term, and farmers need a bailout again during Trump's second term. She says a couple other things here.
About a couple of those yesterday. We're working on those extremely diligently, but as we're restructuring the entire economy, as we're bringing down inflation, bringing down fuel, bringing down labor, Americans, we believe, will see real relief very, very soon.
You're bringing down fuel, electricity's up 10%, and gas prices are flat. You're bringing down inflation. It's been 2.5 to 3, dating all the way back to 2023, most of that time under Biden. And what the hell does she mean we're bringing down labor? Does that mean that they're reducing wages? These people are genuinely bad at this. And just look at what happened when inflation became the topic. Appreciate you watching. Stick around for this next video, and don't forget to hit subscribe so you actually see our uploads. You can also catch the full podcast on Spotify and Apple Podcasts.